Welcome back. Welcome back to the nighttime Bible reading for beginners, where beginners come together and read the Bible to learn all about the goodness of God. And man, your boy Clyde James, man, I'm so happy to be here with y'all again. I'm happy to be able to, facilitate our Bible reading each and every night. I thank y'all for showing up. I appreciate y'all participation. And first and foremost, man, make sure y'all definitely go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the Proc They Left Day YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with all the new content, whether that be shorts, videos, or just lives, anything of that nature. Anything that's coming out new, you'll always stay up to date with it. And so we're going to go ahead and get started where we left off at yesterday, and we're going to read our 2 chapters. So we ended at chapter 15 in Genesis, if you want to follow along, or you could just listen to me read, and we'll just go from there. Chapter 15, the Lord's covenant promise to Abram. Sometime later, the Lord spoke to Abram in a vision and said to him, "Do not be afraid, Abram, for I will protect you, and your reward will be great." But Abram replied, "O sovereign Lord, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son? Since you've given me no children, Eliezer or Damascus, a servant in my household, will inherit all my wealth. You have given me no descendants of my own, so one of my servants will be my heir." Then the Lord said to him, "No, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir." Then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have." And Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Then the Lord told him, "I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land as your possession." But Abram replied, "O sovereign Lord, how can I be sure that I will actually possess it?" The Lord told him, "Bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon." So Abram presented all these to him and killed them. Then he cut each animal down the middle and laid the halves side by side. He did not, however, cut the birds in half. Some vultures swooped down to eat the carcasses, but Abram chased them away. As the sun was going down, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a terrifying darkness came down over him. Then the Lord said to Abram, "You can be sure that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign land, where they will be oppressed as slaves for 400 years. 400 years. But I will punish the nation that enslaves them, and in the end they will come away with great wealth. As for you, you will die in peace and be buried at a ripe old age. After 4 generations, your descendants will return here to this land, for the sins of the Amorites do not yet warrant their destruction." After the sun went down and darkness fell, Abram saw a smoking firepot and a flaming torch pass between the halves of the carcasses. And so the Lord made a covenant with Abram that day and said, "I have given this land to your descendants, all the way from the border of Egypt to the great Euphrates River, the land now occupied by Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites." All right, chapter 16, the birth of Ishmael. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had not been able to bear children for him, but she had an Egyptian servant Hagar. So Sarai said to Abraham, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her." And Abram agreed with Sarai's proposal. So Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, the Egyptian servant, and gave her to Abram as a wife. This happened 10 years after Abram had settled in the land of Canaan. So Abram had sexual relations with Hagar, and she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her, her mistress, Sarai, with contempt. Then Sarai said to Abram, "This is all your fault. I put my servant into your arms, but now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. The Lord will show who's wrong, you or me." Abram replied, Abram replied, "Look, she is your servant, so deal with her as you see fit." Then Sarai treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. The angel of the Lord found Hagar beside a spring of water in the wilderness along the road to Shur. The angel said to her, "Hagar, Sarai's servant, where have you come from, and where are you going?" "I'm running away from my mistress Sarai," she replied. The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit to her authority." Then he added, "I will give you more descendants than you can count." And the angel also said, "You are now pregnant and will give birth to a son. You are to name him Ishmael, which means God hears. For the Lord has heard your cry of distress. This son of yours will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey. He will raise his first against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in open hostility against all his relatives." Thereafter, Hagar used an other name to refer to the Lord who had spoken to her. She said, "You are the God who sees me." She also said, "Have I truly seen the one who sees me?" So that well was named so that well was named Bir Le Roa, which means well of the living one who sees me. It can still be found between Kadesh and Beard. So Hagar gave Abram a son, and Abram named him Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was born. All right, you guys, we just finished our 2 chapters in the Bible today. And the 2 things that stood out to me, uh, one thing that stood out to me was, Abram's faith. When God told him that to look up in the sky and count the stars if you can, that's how many descendants you will have. And Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Abram had faith. Even though he was getting up there in age, he still believed in God, because he was sort of confused. He was like, "Man, I'm gonna have to leave all my inheritance to one of my servants because I don't have a descendant." However, the Lord told him, "Nah, you gonna have a descendant. You gonna have children." And when he told him, Abram just believed him. And man, because of his faith, the Lord seen him as righteous. So I adore like his faith. His faith was amazing. Another thing that stood out to me, I'm gonna just keep it real, is Sarai's personality. Like how she was so willing, due to the fact she couldn't have no child, she was willing to give her servant up to her husband. Like, okay, since I can't have your child, I'm gonna give you Hagar, and you can go over there and have a child with her. Like in today's time, I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of them that, I'm sure it is some women that would allow you to do that, but I know it's still some that wouldn't. So like her personality, for her to just be willing to do that like that, that shows like, man, like she must really, she must really love Abram, because she was willing to give him everything, even her servant. And so it's like, man, that's deep right there, because I don't know, How many would be willing to do that today? Maybe the ladies, y'all can comment down below. Would you be willing to do that with your husband? If you can have kids, would you be willing to give up your servant for him? Hey man, we just having discussion, man. So hey, don't take offense, man. We just communicating. Now two things that I had questions about is mm, um did Soraya ever become pregnant, or did she not ever have a child at all? Period. That's one question. Like, I mean, cause that is, I hope as we continue to read, I hope she do end up being able to have a child. I'm not sure, but if you know the answer to that, definitely drop it in the comment. I want to know if she ever had a child, and also, man, I want to know like where they said what God said. Where the well at? The well was named Bir Laharoa. Bir Laharoa. The well of the living one who sees me. It can still be found between Kadesh and Beard. I want to know where that's at. I'm gonna end up researching that to see where it's located, because it said it can still be found now. So I would definitely like to see that well. That way I could sort of put a picture with the reading. Um, but hey, that's the end of our reading for today. I thank y'all again for showing up. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the Ep8 Lefty YouTube channel. And definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can go to ep8lefty.com, and it has a form where you can contact me. Or you can go to any social media platform at Ep8 Lefty and just holler at me, man. And I'll definitely get back with you at the soonest possible time, man. And as always, man, Ep8 Lefty, genuine love to you all.